our jobs, okay? And at the same time implement new laws as to where all the lawyer financial costs and all that stuff like that is outlandish, unbearable. You can't reach it. And they did all this by dividing the family unit, separating the man from his wife, and leaving that woman in that house to raise her children by herself. Okay, and then that makes her vulnerable to other men, because when she's out trying to find what she should have, home naturally, all the time, what's going to happen is she opens the door to get pregnant by some guy again who's going to move on, because the average guy knows that the woman's head is being tampered with. And the average guy also knows that his head has been tampered with because he's raised by these women whose head has been tampered with. So it's a really a go nowhere circumstance that need to be understood as being an implementation of control. Women and men in bond with each other is the only acceptable method of child production. Any other method of child production is going to be missing a large percentage of what's necessary for the produced child to be reared to fit properly in a society that is eradicated of decadence. A society with a mission to bring about a divine existence for every citizen on that manifest. Everyone. How dare you look at a certain group and say, no, they're not going to have medical, they're not going to have dental, okay, they're not going to be able to ride the bus unless they sit at the back, you know, or she can't vote, you know. I mean, all this ridiculous bull crap that we haven't done anything about, and it's not going to go away on its own. Okay, it's not. So the reason I come out and say the things I say and use profanity and all that stupid stuff like I've been doing in the past is because I really know what the hell I got to do. And believe me, it's not easy. You should see the rejections and the slam doors. Doors always been slammed. Now, I have the doors the size of garage doors slamming on my ass, okay? And so I sacrifice a lot to try to come out here and just have myself some YouTube footage to go back and look at so I can see how I'm thinking. You know, maybe I could make myself have a different concept tomorrow that could change the world. You know, a lot of times, the only thing a flower needs is for someone to water it. You know, people can walk past and no one ever does it. And then one person come along and do it. And do you know the people who had a chance to do it and never did it? I had the nerves to get mad at the person who shined and took the opportunity to make the sun happen. Because that's what you do when you take care of the plant, when you take care of the earth. Now, is the people on the earth worth taking care of? Yes. I would think so. How do you take care of them? Well, you can take care of them by making them stupid and stealing all their money and making them think that they really have something that they really don't have. Or you can take care of them by coming to them by saying, you know, even though I'm setting myself up to get my hair cut off, to get lynched, get castrated, get through in prison and everything, I want to tell you something. People are using us. We shouldn't be working this hard and never being able to go nowhere. We should be able to feed our children without having to buy stuff in the store that you can look at and see it's something wrong with it. You can just pick up fruit and look at that crap and say, wait a minute, there's something wrong with this. Your eyes and your genetics in your body should tell you that this has been tampered with. If you think I'm lying, just look at it. I want to show you a connection that we have with vegetation on Earth that a lot of people don't understand. Next time you see a tree, walk up to it and hug it. And I want you to hug it with genuine affection, like you're hugging another human being. Do it. Just do it. Take the nearest tree you see and act like it's your daughter, or your son, or your mother, or your brother, or your uncle, you know. And just walk up to it and just greet it the way you would greet one of them. Put your hands around it and hug it and have a smile on your face and see if you can feel the same warmth and the same energy come back to you from that tree. Because you will. And I know you will. Now watch this. It says, true history of the combined African slave trade and institution of slavery in the Americas will show not only did the single mom begin with the bondage of the Moorish people, but in the key instrument to maintain its dominion over the colonization of Africa. Remember, the original African men were captured by British enslavers and were not this scared, spirit chucking. Excuse me a minute. Someone's at my door. All right, hold on. I'll be back. Hotel, Mayotte Hotel. This Sarah. Okay, I'm back. Let's finish, all right? Okay. I don't remember where I was at when I left off. I know we was talking about slavery. It said the scared, spirit chunking man, soup eating monkey, minded tree swing, and they talking about black man. Tarzan movie extra look alikes heathen suitable for Christian slavery as portrayed by European propaganda. Indeed, most betrayed by their brothers, do trades and were brick masons, carpenters, fathers, farmers, doctors, blacksmiths, designers, weavers, and scholars. Above all, they were fathers, husbands, and sons who by nature and love would protect their women with their lives. Every melanated tribe and nation had a version of manhood training where they learned as boys to men their God self and the value of womanhood. And you know, to prove that is when you could go to all of the ancient remnant of the cities of the Nile Valley, you can always see statues of women and everything like that in key position of leadership as to where they were always revered as the center of learning, the center of health, the center of everything that was important. It started off with the female. And they were even warrior type too, because there's a lot of demonstrations of them fighting in battles and everything right next, side by side with their men. The problem was, what defeated them was the fact that they were non-aggressive and not out to try to be conquering no other nations or people, because they were on divine vibration. That's where you don't be out to just extract wealth from other people, you know, because you could rely on the universe to get your wealth like I was doing by getting it out of the garbage cans. And, you know, the universe would still sustain me, but I got to find another way to do it, because that way it wasn't practical enough, because it's too much interference from opposement of people who really doesn't like to hear some of the things that I say on YouTube, but go figure, they watch it, you know, because they can't get away from truth, but they don't want no one telling the truth. So they come in and watch it, and then they want to fathom a reason in their mind to try to hate me even more when you hated me already. And that's the reason why I'm saying that, because the hatred that's on the world is what I'm trying to eradicate. And I'm just pointing out that it's there and pointing out my found reasons or my profound reasons, because I've done really deep to find out all the stuff that I found out, and I want to share with people so people could just have something to think about. That's all I'm trying to do. I ain't trying to create hate, I'm trying to eradicate hate, okay? Okay, so this is why most of these men were not broken enough to be transferred to the United States from the slave-breaking islands of Haiti, Trinidad, Cuba, Jamaica, etc. They were used for local labor and study. The pregnant mother was valued property to the Americans because they marked the birth of a slave people. Often a newborn never knew its birth mother because it was nurtured and reared by a nanny or mammy. It was along these corridors of slavery when the African mother, in the insecurity of keeping the child she mothered in the absence of his father, the market of the single mom became an asset to the institution of slavery. Way back then is when they started implementing the single mom, and they were doing it with melanated people, keeping the man and woman together, only bringing them together for the purpose of breeding. But they don't show you that on TV. They show you them getting married to each other and all that stuff, having a family. That was not true. The only thing they were was property, which means that the only time a man had a chance to be with a woman was pretty much when they were brought together for breeding purposes only. Otherwise, that white man had that lady put on reserve for himself. And a lot of times, the white man was hanging out in the back with the black man. Now, I'm telling you what I know. I don't care if you get mad. I'm just telling you what I know. It's a whole hidden part of the history of the homosexuality that went on with the sodomizing of small boys turned into slave property of European men. And along with that, there's the history of abandonment of the female gender of the European race, why the man was out in the back with the women or the men, don't matter. This was something really happened, something that's been trying to be hidden from history. But all the same, I just want to point out the fact that even though contrary to what people say about don't breed with them, don't this, don't that, yeah, there's been a lot of that going on. A whole lot of breeding with black and white going on. Men and women, women and men, it don't matter. It's been going on. Believe that. It's been going on. Okay, it say often a newborn never knew his birth mother. Okay, we did that. Because as asset to the institution of slavery, by the time the United States became a nation, nearly all sisters born in slavery were taught and thought being born a slave was natural in a normal life for Negroes. She could not put trust in the baby daddy because there was no way of telling how long he would live or be around. Needful to say, then as well as now, the African man had nothing and no defense. And that's true. Because listen, that policeman came over here and said that I did something that I didn't do. And since then, they actually took property of mine, running me through all this court shit. If I wanted to leave, I couldn't even leave right now because I got to stay here to go to court. A 90 freaking day away court day, you know what I'm saying? With this shit happened way back in June, okay? So we going on like almost 7 months of this shit. And like I say, the other people who's supposed to be in this case ain't even showed up in court. No policeman, no nothing. So this is the barbaric bullshit that goes on with us black men that's destroying our race by keeping us unavailable to our black women. That keep them in a state of helplessness, and then he could pull up, talk them into having abortions, get them welfare, and make them feel like he's doing them a favor after he came over here and stole all the land, cut down all the trees, poured all this concrete on the ground every damn where, and put our asses in a position of hopelessness, helplessness, and just nothing to look forward to except his little small metering of things to us, along with his whole desire to make sure we perish off the earth. So people getting mad now because I'm telling the truth again. But the shit is happening to your ass too, but you just can't see that. Because see, everything that is being done to us by these corporations in America that wants to kill us off the earth so they could utilize our part of the pie for themselves and use it to feed to you guys to make you stay tools of destruction for them too, because I see how some guys look at me when I walk down the street upset about the things I'm saying. That's all right. You gotta say it. My thing is this. When people wake up and stop being dichotomized, and women stop looking at black men that done sired babies with them as their baby's daddy, is that all I am now? And what about all this stuff where you have a baby by this man and you don't think it's a problem having your daughter all hugged up with another man that, I mean, they come and go, you know, and average man don't want to see nobody holding his daughter. But, you know, you women just don't care. Y'all think that, well, she's my daughter. But no, that's not true because, see, you can have him put in jail. Well, deadbeat dad ain't got no job. Well, we know he ain't got a job. You guys make it hard as hell for a black man to have a job because you want him to go to prison. We all know that. So now we have what is a natural act of nature, a black man, a melanated man and a melanated woman having a baby, and for some way or the other, they can make a crime be committed by this melanated man. Now the universe gave him and this woman permission to be together and have children. But here go this Caucasian man coming to the picture, and for some reason he wants to make the melanated man be a criminal for having intercourse and reproducing the world, which in their own Bible said be fruitful and multiply. Oh, but that meant white people. The problem with that is that the universe has made it almost impossible for them to reproduce as rapidly and with as ease that the other races are able to do it. So this is the reason for all this murder and the lies and the deceit, to try to implement something into the universe that the universe never designed to be there. So you kill what was introduced by the universe and try to replace it with something that the universe is making perfectly clear it doesn't want to be here. That's the reason of eradicated the reproductive ability. Now, I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying it because it's something need to be observed and taken notice of. Somewhere inside of all of our hearts, we need to wake up and see that and pay attention to that, because it can be overlooked. So if the universe is taking the ability to reproduce away from the Caucasian people is murdering all the black people, how long are there going to be people on the earth? Just something to think about. Now we see the birds dying, we see the fish dying, we see the earth giving us these signals that she is stressed out and that her ability to give sustainment to the earth is still there, but she's refusing to do it. She's saying, my animals are going to be moved to another realm of time and space. I'm moving these spirits out of here because you guys are just really did some horrible things, all this cutting out uteruses and all this stuff just going on. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it either, how hard it is to find a job. When I know for a fact that it's all deliberate. It's all deliberate. It's a form of genocide. That's what it is. All of you families who let this government trick you into bringing separatism between your loved ones. You sitting up, you're supposed to be a family, and you don't want to have nobody around you that is supposed to be in a position of leadership, because you didn't let someone else convince you that this person have to have a certain amount of finances to be able to sit there. You know, that is ridiculously stupid, because when you let something like that happen to you, you let the person that's in control of the avenues to get finances set a limitation to how far you can go. Because I don't care what nobody says, all you single moms out there can work all your life and think you're doing good, but you're just foolish. You're not really going to be doing good until you seriously have a good connection with reality in your head. And the reality that you should be connected in your head is that if you are not married, you should not be having any children. I hate to be the one to tell you that, but that is the truth. It's causing too many problems on this earth. First of all, it's causing a child to grow up without the proper balance, okay? A child growing up should have a mother and a father, and that mother and father should have all type of family units backing them up, so this child can have a never-ending source of things they can rely on, and look forward to bringing some good attributes to his plate to help him or her develop into a responsible, mature adult. No, the only thing we got now is schools where you get your ass whooped by gangs, and I mean, it's so much decadence on the earth, and I don't understand why there's not more people trying to voice a remedy, a remedification that we can all try to employ together to try to slow down the deterioration of our planet. Oh, I shouldn't say our planet, because I forgot. I'm not supposed to matter. Right? Does it sound foolish for me to say that? Well, no. Do you want me to go over there and get on that computer and show you the white-only drinking signs? Do you want me to really go and prove to you that I have legitimate reason to feel like there might be people on this planet who don't think that I should be entitled to self-sustainment? Do you want me to prove that to you? You believe me? Okay, well, I won't waste time. We can move on. Okay, now listen to this. It says, bitch warnings. Any man of African descent whom calls any female of his race a bitch is unconsciously out of his mind. By design, N.A. Coleman has absolutely no idea of the self-mutilation and great sin he has committed. Yeah, some of us do, and we still do it anyway. We're going to be punished for that. But we know that sometimes, and it's not saying that it's the right thing to do. I'm not. I know it's totally wrong. But I did that a couple times myself. Maybe more than a couple times, I ain't gonna lie, but I'm saying I do try not to do that. But man, it could really come on, because it comes back to the fact that the education that the female has received, you hear them call themselves that. And they not hesitant to act like that either. Sticking their nose. All that old shit, you know, and still don't make it right for you to do that. But hey, like I said, we all gotta grow together. Okay, how else did he say? He is the negative result of loveless life and needs forgiveness, for he does not have an inkling of what he is. In fact, I hear one more NBC call his mother a bitch. I might puke. Yes, his own mother. How else did he get there except through her? of all the misused words of misnomer in the U.S. today, black, white, etc., this author more profoundly detests no other slander than the word bitch. Bitch is used so much in the media of modern communications, it's nearly accepted as normal. Even Master Webster defines bitch as a female dog and a malicious, unpleasant woman. He, Webster, ought to know there's only one family of people on earth that would equate a dog and a woman in the same breath. As for the females of the human family, bitches are made and not born. In every culture and language, there is a translation for bitch because it actually describes the nature of a mature female dog. Bitch donates the female of canines, as does mare or equine or a sow to swine. In the human family, when the female gender matures into the childbearing stage, she goes from girl to womanhood. Simple. Technically, a bitch can be made of any unprotected female from virtually any species. The combination of a no security and vulnerability of a point female opens the door of exile to the abusive world of bitchdom. A bitch dog must also be noted as the female that is unprotected, unloved, and exiled from her cultural mainstream. It does not take a scientist to equate single moms be created by the United States is designed to best serve her people by being completely ostracized as a nationalized woman. No nation can prosper from a tumor of single moms. Truth is, single moms, translated from a divine and national view, simply means nation breaker. Bitch, as now used, is pure rock gut American English. The irony of the English language is that it has words like bitch, which can summarize what its people think of the only producer of human life, the woman, but does not have a single word for the name of the great God. Like the word God is, see, this is what he's talking about. He's saying you could find a dictionary that'll give you the word in the definition of a bitch real fast and easy without a problem. But you can find some dictionaries that don't even have the definition of goddess in it. But if you do find a definition of a goddess, it never says a supreme deity. But the definition of God is always a supreme deity. But that's the type of sexism that I'm sure this author is getting to, how the European nationality went out of its way to handicap the virtues and the unique contributions that the female gender, and not even unique contributions, but the overall encapsulating that which encompasses all would be the inner recesses of life, uterus of the female. Okay? All right, so here we go. Bitch was originally applied to isolate and distinguish a mixed breeder dog with mutts sired from any male dog other than his species, as opposed to a carefully breeded pedigree. A pedigree female canine was usually referred to as she or he. The bitch was crossbred, often beyond identifying records, and was considered colored, mixed, stained, impure, and without value. This is why the word bitch was so effectively applied to the enslaved queens and goddesses of Africa. They had been reduced to breeding and crossbreeding by any Tom, Dick, was Harry, and since she was no longer legally attached to the human family as a pure nation of people, her value and that of her children was diminished to that of a bitch with litter. As the pale-skinned men of Europe began to domesticate dogs and their women, the dog became his best friend, and he classified certain defenseless and usable women as bitch. A bitch is an identified lower-class woman of the ghettos of Europe, signaling their animalistic nature, wretchedness, and sluttish behavior, usually as a direct result of European caste system. And the European caste system deliberately attacked the female and made her become subservient, or she became someone that was dependent on the society. She didn't have any rights to vote, none of that stuff. So the same victimization of other people around the planet was also done to the female European race, and as well as to other men. And it was all done by the Catholic Church, and all these corporations that's running the earth right now have all been launched from these same people who committed all the atrocious deeds at day one and still doing it today. So again, you know, I just want to point out that with a lot of people being upset with me for coming out here saying the things I say and opening my mouth to be the whistleblower the way I am, I want you to know that this is because of love for everyone. And I just want people to be aware of why we're all doing so bad, and don't take it out on each other like me and dude this morning. You know, I know that guy, and it made me feel bad later that we had to go through that like that, and I just know that it was because he was probably having a bad morning, and so was I. Everybody got their back up against the wall, so you know, people just gonna have to take a moment to think and just relax. You don't let your my circumstances are pretty bad, you know. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. So that's why I'm stressed out a lot. But I'm just saying, they not really all that bad. I've had it before. I'm sure that it'll go away and I'll be able to get over it. But the thing is, when it's hard to sleep and all that stuff like that, that's how it is. When it's time to get up and go do stuff, that's when your body is ready to go to sleep. And now you are running, fighting all day while you're tired and sleepy. Then when you come home and you get to go to sleep, your ass ain't sleepy no more. All that kind of crazy anxiety stuff always going through me, you know. And it's just because the world is stressing out, and I see what's in store for small children. And you have so many people that are so stuck on the benefits of what's right now in their face that they're missing a lot of the beautiful possibilities that could be brought into play if people will actually reach for them or think on them coming into play. I don't think that we should all be relying on the government to put limitations on how far you're able to go in life, and at the same time be able to cause dissension amongst the citizens on earth to give the possibility of enslavement to one race of people all over again. And to tell you the truth, I really fear that that could happen on this planet, you know, and the only thing that's going to be able to put a stoppage to that happening is going to be a whole bunch of information be given to people as to why they should not allow things like that to happen on earth, because we're all going to be held accountable for the things we allow to happen to each other. And so I just say that to everybody so you can understand why my diligence at coming out here and constantly talking this stuff is the way it is. There is enough beautiful to say while all this stuff is going on. I mean, really there is, but I don't want to be the one to say it. I want to point out to you the decadence so it can be changed. It's really simple. If you were going to come into my house and do an inspection of it and evaluate me on my neatness, and you came in my house and you found everything really, really neat and in order, everything. You can find no dust, you can find anything. But you go into the kitchen, and in the kitchen I have a cup and a saucer and a little bowl and 2 silverware in the sink. I bet you, with everything else on the paper not marked as having a flaw, that flaw right there will get marked because it was the only thing someone could find. So of course they're going to mark it in. And that will be what you will see on the paper more than anything. You won't see the bathroom was immaculately clean and there was no problems and that we didn't find anything. You won't see the beds were all made up and everything was so tidy in the bedroom and it smelled really good. You won't see that either. I ain't gonna lie, my house is not that neat. But I'm saying if that was the case, all that stuff wouldn't get mentioned. It'd be for the mind to figure out itself that that was the case because you didn't see any paperwork wrote up on that. But the fact that there was no paperwork wrote up on that doesn't mean that someone is going to read, oh, the room was really well manicured and everything was so in place and this was a well-kept house and everything was beautiful except there was a few dishes in the sink. It won't be read that way. The only thing people are going to see is that this house was not in order because we found some problems in the kitchen. That's the way our world is. And so really, I want you all to understand that what I'm doing is based on, first of all, I have to do it because I really believe in my heart that I've been ordained to do this. I have the energy to do it. I have a whole lot of negative circumstances that come into my life behind doing this, and I still do it. So I think that should pretty much say a lot, you know. And it's really not easy. It's very challenging. It's scary. It's lonely. People think that I'm crazy. I don't have any friends. Let me see. I mean, I do, but I don't. Like, you get rid of friends all the time with this. A lot of stuff goes on, you know. I mean, it really does. There's so much stuff goes on when you're trying to exhume a world of dead people. And that's really exactly what my objective is. My objective is kind of weird because everybody likes to eat meat, and then I'm the person that's going to come out there and say, do you know you're eating poison? You're eating a dead animal, and that's going to kill you. And then the people that own all the jobs and all the corporations that hire people for jobs and everything hear me saying that, and they like, he's messing up our money. Why the hell should we give his ass sustainment? Well, because you took sustainment from me. You won't be giving me anything. I'm bitching and complaining because you took sustainment away. And I believe if you would have left things the way they were, people would have never got the foolish assumption or